the Dork Side News Network, and this just in.
Yeah, I'll save it for Kat because she's a huge mango fan, but it's pretty good.
There's two other flavors. Obviously, the lime one, which I like a lot, but I actually like that one the most out of the three. And then there's a berry one, which is funny because the berry one says blueberry on the box, but when you take the can out, it just says berry, and it tastes like cough syrup.
Huh. I mean, because, yeah. Okay.
Because Pepsi needed to do that. I guess, Pepsi owns Mountain Dew, and Mountain Dew does all the other crazy flavors every month.
So, flavored Pepsi, best of 2019?
I don't know, actually. I mean, it might be the Mountain Dew. No, but the mango Pepsi is probably the best Pepsi so far.
Yeah, I mean, Pepsi's the worst of the colas. So,
it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, fruit juice plus Pepsi is better than normal Pepsi. I agree with that.
Okay, so we're back. It's been a couple of weeks because we're breaking down our schedule now, so we don't have to record as much because it gets to be a lot every week with both of our schedules. So,
it's quality over quantity,
yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
So yeah,
we're making sure all this is good. If you're just joining us, it's the Dork Side News. I'm James.
I'm Richard.
And normally we do news because that's our news thing, but we're doing a year-end review. I thought we'd, not to try and copy every other podcast. Other podcasts are doing top 5 best-selling games. We're just doing our own, what we liked from this year.
Yeah, I mean, if you want all the other top 2019, like top 29 toilet experience, top 29 flavor of Twinkie, go to some other podcast. We're gonna have the good stuff here.
It's funny you say that because I actually have a friend who writes an honest review of every toilet he visits when he goes to a public restroom. On their
but that's not in this podcast.
That's not in this podcast. He should do a podcast about that. So we've broken it down into 5 categories. Excuse me. TV shows, movies, games, board games, and gadgets. We had to separate board games because Rich and I play a lot of board games.
Yeah.
A lot. And we know the good ones. At least I think we do. I know the ones I like. So
yeah, there we go.
We're going to start off with TV shows, Rich.
And I understand that, I've carefully and thoughtfully organized all mine into top 1 through 5.
Yep, and I have not.
And you have not. So people at home, if James is horribly wrong, don't hold it against him. His the right answer might just be in a different order than it should be.
I don't necessarily have them in the order, but I do have the top, the very top. And I figured I would keep mine not in any specific order because I know a lot of our list is going to coincide.
Sure.
So it gets confusing if I'm like, this is my 3 and you're 5.
No, that's fair. It's going to bounce around.
Yeah.
It always does. Yeah.
So we'll keep the numbers on your side and we'll have you start off. So what's your number 5 for TV shows this year?
All right. So, which I just changed to best shows.
Best shows. Okay.
Yeah, because I don't really watch TV anymore, but best shows. Okay, my number 5 is, now just to clarify, there's no right or wrong way to decide what is the best. If you're best, hottest people, I guess that's a way to validate it.
Yeah.
That wasn't my way. My way was things that I think I will look back and think this was amazing.
Yep. For me, it's things I'll look back and be like, I'll probably watch that again because I have a habit of watching things again.
So my number 5 was Black Mirror season 5.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Not on my list. So we're starting off good there.
There you go. Yeah. Black Mirror season 5 really explores augmented reality via these little discs that can first record memories and then insert memories and then insert entire experiences and then insert augmented reality that you can walk around and you can see things that computers are putting in front of you. And they really, I think as this, 2020 might be one of the top years for VR where it kind of goes mainstream.
It is.
I know so many people with VR,
Yep.
but I think it's going to go mainstream. Everybody's going to have it.
So it's New Year's Eve that we're recording this, and I'm actually going to a friend's house for a New Year's party after this.
Yeah.
And the highlight of the party is we're going to be playing Beat Saber.
Yeah.
It's going to be a Beat Saber tournament, I guess. So, I mean, it just shows how much VR has come up in literally the last year.
So I think we're going to look back at Black Mirror season 5 as, wow, they really thought about this stuff.
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to have you go on to your number 4 because I'll just probably throw in mine that aren't on your list.
No, that's fair. So number 4 for me is The Witcher. And this, honestly, like I could have come up with 10 shows for 2019.
Yep.
This was the year of shows.
Yes.
But The Witcher, honestly, episode 1, I was like, you know what, this is really cool, and I'm kind of bored because, man, I hate big armies of fantasy extra people in costume. I just don't care, and I like the Lord of the Ring, Two Towers. Like
big war thing.
Big war.
Yeah.
I hate it. I want everything to be about individuals, like heroes.
Yeah.
But man, after episode 1, it just gets so good, and the detail and that CG on the eyes, like, and I had
Yennefer's purple fucking eyes are so.
Oh, and his
crazy.
golden eyes.
Yeah,
and I had to explain to my girlfriend, I was like, those can't be contacts.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, what do you mean? Why not? And I was like, because contacts, they're the outside of the eye, but for eyes, the outside's clear.
Yep.
The color's on the inside, and so they're literally recoloring all their eyes every frame. It's crazy.
It is nuts.
Yeah.
I will try not to. Well, I'm gonna have to spoil my list right now, but Witcher is definitely my top show of this year.
Top show
of this year.
Wow.
Surprisingly, yes.
Wow.
And I can chalk it up to one experience. That fucking song that the bard sings. I have been singing it nonstop for like 4 days.
It's definitely tough. And Netflix had so many winners this year, but I think The Witcher. If I had more time to think about it, because it just came out, I just watched it all. If I had more time to think about it, I think it might be my top Netflix show, but I haven't had enough time to really like
drive it home
yet. So yeah,
no, it was super good for me. I liked. I didn't know anything about The Witcher going in this. I knew 3 names. From just in passing: Geralt of Rivia, Yennefer, and Triss. Oh, and Ciri, obviously. So I knew 4 names. And I knew that they were going to have some importance when I heard the name. And I was like, okay, this is going to be important. So it was cool not knowing anything about The Witcher going into this. Like I even, right in the first episode, looked up what is a Witcher. Like I didn't even know what it was.
Yeah.
And it was just so good. And then I think the only issue I had was what everybody wants to happen in this season doesn't happen until the last episode. But that's how they do it. I mean, they got to give you some backstory.
I came to it very similar to you. I've played probably about 4 hours of the first game, not first game, but 4 hours of Witcher 3. Mm-hmm. And I hate the control scheme. I can't get past it. It's garbage.
So it's funny that you said that because I just also bought Witcher 3 because I mean, I have to now. And I was listening to another podcast where they were saying the exact same thing. They hate how the controls work. Apparently they knew this a while ago that the controls are bad, and they added in an alternate control mechanism where you can just go into the options and change to alternate control, and it changes the entire way you play.
Oh.
And I was like, why is everybody complaining about this? Because I had it on.
Yeah.
And when I went to go look at my options, they knew that people were going to go do that. It was already as my default set as alternate. So when I switched it to the standard, I was like, oh, I hate this. I can't do this.
It's garbage.
I switched it back to alternate, and I was like, "This is good now." I like it.
You know what? I'm gonna reinstall it because probably like I've owned it for a really really long time.
Yeah.
So it probably didn't have that alternate.
Yeah, it probably didn't.
All right. Number 3, The Watchmen.
Also not on my list, only because I don't have HBO. So
you're not dating a Filipina, so you don't have access to the Filipina HBO account. Man, The Watchmen, it's so topical. So the background of The Watchmen is all around how, because they have masked vigilantes in the Watchmen universe, people, well, very specifically like white supremacists, start killing cops.
Yep.
And so the cops start wearing masks so that they can have secret identities, basically, that people don't know that they're cops. So they have like fake jobs and all this stuff. And it's so cool. And it has some time travel components, which I always love. I always love like, oh, wow, like because of this happened. That happened in the future, but now you like understand what. Oh my god, I don't want to spoil it, but it's
no. I was listening to Kevin Smith's podcast on Star Wars because I love to hear him freak out about his stuff, and he started off with a Watchmen, and he was like, "Let me tell you about the big dick that is Watchmen," and he just kept going on about it. And he was like, "That reveal, I don't know what reveal it is because I haven't seen it, but he's like, that reveal was mind blowing," and I was like, "Oh man,
yep." Like the character on the screen her mind was blown. My mind was blown. Our minds were blown together. I was like, it's so good. It is so good. And it's so topical to this split personality that cops have in this country of being both the heroes that we rightfully respect and look up to, while at the same time there's bad actors.
Yep.
And those bad actors are the worst of the worst. So a great topical show, great acting from all the cast and crew. I don't know if they're going to do any more in that universe, but I hope so, because this wasn't a series. This was a mini series, or whatever they call it. Yeah. Okay, so are we going to keep going, and then you're going to insert the ones I missed?
Yep.
Okay. Umbrella Academy.
Yeah. Also on my list, definitely on my list this year.
So that was my number 2.
I would put that as my number 3, I think.
Okay. It's hard because, and this is like I said, I could have 10. I could have 10. I left off the Amazon Prime. Actually, I left off 2 Amazon Prime shows that I would think might be on your list, and I just left them off. The superhero one,
The Boys. Oh shit, I didn't even think about that.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, this was such a good year. This was an amazing year. Wow. The Boys deserved to be on the list somewhere, but it didn't. So,
to be fair, looking at my list and hearing your list, I still think my list, I would prefer my list the way it is. Like, I love The Boys, but
yeah, I loved it. But man, I hate watching shows on Amazon. It's a bad experience.
That's why it's number 6 on our list, because it's on Amazon.
If the same show had been over on Netflix or Disney Plus, then I'd be like, oh no, it's on the list.
Yep.
But yeah, no. Umbrella Academy, it was the start of the year for me of amazing shows.
Yep.
And that's why I left it in, even though maybe it's not as strong. It was still first.
It kicked off this entire year of like everything that happened,
and it was unexpected because I didn't think, like, you haven't read it yet, right?
No, I haven't.
I think you should read it, even though it's not great. And so they just did such an amazing job with it. And again, time travel. I love
lots of time travel in this one.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to season 2. And my number 1, obviously, if I haven't mentioned it yet, then you know what it is.
It's my number 2.
It's The Mandalorian.
It's The Mandalorian.
There's ups and downs of the show. It's not a perfect show. It is by far not a perfect show, but I actually am not giving it a number 1 because it's my most exciting favorite show, but because it is the show that inspired the world. Like,
yes, it is. So much so that our next episode is going to be the Mandalorian, I guess, spoiler cast. That's what you want to call it.
It would not be without Baby Yoda.
Exactly. And yes, we said Baby Yoda. If you're in your car having a nervous twitch because we said Baby Yoda, get over it.
Get over it.
I've already explained why we can call it Baby Yoda in a Facebook post. We don't know Yoda's race. Never been canonically announced. So we just call him Yoda. And because we don't know the race, we call it Baby Yoda because that's the only thing we know it as.
Yep.
And apparently Disney has a big problem with that. You have to say either the child or damn, what did the guy call it in the very first episode, or the second episode? Like not the acquisition. Damn, I can't remember the word.
Package?
Like not the package, but in that same vein, starts with an A. I don't remember, but they only allow 2 words at Disney for Baby Yoda, and Baby Yoda is not one of them.
And if they do not put Baby Yoda on their merchandise, which they didn't even bother to make.
So they did.
Not originally.
But what their issue was they couldn't release it until Baby Yoda had been on screen, because if they had, it would have been a huge spoiler for the entire series.
Okay, so we know a Filipino that works in the Disney merchandise department, and they said that the number one complaint they're having now that like this was about a month ago. So that was already, I mean, Baby Yoda had already been out for a month. And the number one complaint was there was not enough merchandise. So they had no concept of how popular this character would be.
That's funny.
So they might have had a couple things, but they did not have the full wealth of backpacks and purses and and hats and all the things that should be Baby.
It's funny because there's two specific things in The Mandalorian that should have their own, I guess, spin-offs or shows. Obviously, Baby Yoda should have his own whatever.
His own show
or whatever. But I wanted to point this out. The Stormtroopers in the very last episode, they should also have their own show, because those two were fucking hilarious.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it next episode. All right.
So that was your top 5.
That's my top 5.
I have 2 on my list because we that's just how we did things. So one of mine was Raising Dion. Now I haven't finished it yet, but I'm 90% of the way through. I think I have 1 or 2 episodes left, and it's already like 3 episodes in.
In my top 10.
Holy shit, this is so good. And I think the most interesting thing about it, and the thing I like about it, is the children. All of the children are ridiculously good actors for being how old they are. Yeah. Like Dion himself, or I don't know his actual name, but Dion is, I'm guessing 8 or 9 in real life, maybe, but he's 7 in the show, and he just nails it. It's crazy how well it is. And I didn't know Michael B. Jordan was in it. That was a surprise.
Yeah, and he does a great job. I mean, when you don't shoehorn him into like some random role just because you're trying to launch his stardom or whatever, he's a great actor.
Yeah, he
is legitimately great. My girlfriend was sad because I explained how that little girl, I think they have a lifespan of normally no older than 19 years old, something like that. So I'm pretty sure she has, she looks like she has Progeria, yeah. And they live very, very short lives, unless we're like in the future now and technology has fixed that. But I don't think so. I went to high school with a kid, and he made all the girls cry because he was like, yeah, so I have like another year or 2, 2 years left. But that guy, he was so happy and upbeat, because when you have a short lifespan like that, you can either just be defeated or you can be
just
amazing.
Live up what you got. Yeah,
and she is a great actress, that little girl.
Yes, she is. All of them, and the girlfriend keeps calling me Pat because I act like him. Apparently, I was like, that's not fair.
That's not a compliment.
Yeah, I know it's not, because he's really awkward.
He's
slightly annoying,
like the friend zoned guy that is a little obsessive.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then my other one that was not on your list that was in mine was Stranger Things. Now, I know Stranger Things has been out for 2 years, but I'm specifically talking season 3 since it came out July 4th this year. And holy shit, what an ending.
Great ending. Did you think season 3 was the best of the 3 seasons?
I think so. I really do think so. I think 2 kicked it into high gear for me to like 3 as much as I did.
There's things that I like more, like the daughter of, the girl with the sailor outfit. What's her name?
I suddenly forgot now. It's been since July 4th.
She's the daughter of
not the mayor,
the lady who played Poison Ivy.
Oh yeah.
And Chris Hawke.
Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman's daughter.
Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman. Yeah. She was amazing. I think she was the highlight new character. Like compared to the little
Max
redhead. Yeah. And Max was a dud. Like she did not live up.
I was getting really mad at Max as her character, not as the actress. Yeah. Because I was like, stop trying to make things happen the way you want them to. Stop it.
I hate girls like that. So, but Ethan Hawke's daughter, amazing. I don't know, in my top 10, definitely. But there's so many amazing shows. It just wasn't in my.
My favorite thing about this was I actually finished it on July 4th or July 5th, I think, when it came out. And I kept telling my girlfriend, you need to watch this. You need to watch this. And she had no interest in it. So I finally convinced her to sit down and watch the first 1 or 2 episodes of Stranger Things season 1.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, I can understand why you like this. I will try and finish it for you. So we got to the end of season 1. And I was like, what if I told you right now, I bet you your favorite character at the end of this entire series is going to be Jonathan. And she's like, there's no fucking way. He's such an asshole. I hate him. We finished season 3 and she's like, I hate that you were right. Jonathan is like one of my most favorite characters. His like weird redemption arc of him being an asshole. And now he's like best friends with Dustin. And
it's true.
It was so good. Oh, I loved it. So good. And then of course the song that they sing at the very end, I had that stuck in my head for weeks when it came out.
I played that song so much.
I played both versions, the one that Gatton Matarazzo sings and the actual one. Never Ending Story, that's what it was. All right, let's move on to movies. This is going to be a big one for us because it wasn't that good for movies this year. It really was not.
It wasn't.
I mean, there was some obvious, there's going to be some obvious answers in here. But if we were trying to make a list of 5, we actually struggled with this a little bit.
Really did.
Because movies weren't that great this year.
My list is not, it's in a quasi order, but because the movies are so weak in general, I don't have a lot of commitment behind these.
It's your number 5 today could be your number 4 tomorrow. And switch back and forth. Yeah.
So my number 5 was Star Wars, the Rise of Skywalker. It was my favorite of the last trilogy.
Yep.
It was enjoyable. It did everything right. Honestly, it did everything right. Anything that was weak, in my opinion, was weak only because Abrams had to fix episode 8.
Yes, and that's the argument I keep trying to thrust into people's heads. Like, why did they do this? Why did they do that? And I was like, because Rian Johnson fucked it up. Like, that's what he did. Snoke should not have died in the second episode. That shouldn't have happened, I think. There should have been a whole nother, thing, a whole nother, instead of whatever. I'm trying not to say too many spoilers here, but I do have to mention one.
It's a couple years ago, so I mean, I don't know.
Well, I'm talking about on the Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, it's only been a week, so.
So this is it is a minor spoiler, I think, but it's something I need to get out. People are not talking about it enough. Everybody's talking about the ending, of course, because the ending is the most important part of the entire Skywalker saga. It's the ending. Yeah. But Jedi Master Leia has not been talked about enough, and that was a truly pivotal moment for me in watching the movies. It was crazy to think. When you're starting off that movie and you're like, how can Leia train Rey to be a Jedi? She's not. And then you go 30 minutes in the movie and you go, holy shit, she was legitimately an actual Jedi.
Yeah.
And it explains why she had the crazy force powers in the second movie.
She got, she got married as a Jedi Master. I don't know. They're really... you're not supposed to have strong emotion.
Well, so I think she was a Jedi. I don't think she was actually anointed master because of everything. She gave up her lightsaber and all that stuff. So
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. She had all the training though, so she could teach it. Great show. I really like Bobo.
Bebo. I forgot what his name.
Bebo, Bobo. Great addition. You could buy life-size versions of him, and I think he would be a valid merchandise option. They probably didn't, again, because they're probably like, who cares about this character who has probably like 3 minutes of screen time? But I cared for him. I liked him. Yeah, that was my number 5.
I want to look this up real quick because this was something. I don't remember how to freak people. Bob.
What's that? How to pronounce his name?
No, not that. So Babu Freak. Okay. So there's something funny about this. Babu Freak is the little creepy alien thing
Who can hack droids.
And especially in this one, it was important. But the voice of Babu Freak was the most important. It was done by Moaning Myrtle from Harry Potter. That's the voice of Babu Freak.
Wow.
So when I saw that, I was like, oh, so Shirley Henderson, that's what I was trying to figure out. The girl who did Moaning Myrtle did Babu Freak's voice.
You know, what the weirdest thing about media is I kind of had a crush on Shirley, but she's like 50 or something like that now. So, I mean, maybe older. I don't know. She's quite a bit older now. But when you see movies and stuff, like they're stuck in that time that whenever they filmed it. So she just forever is that like cute, geeky British girl.
And then she was also in a couple episodes of Doctor Who.
She was, yeah.
Like that a lot. So Star Wars, I was going to say confidently before we started recording number 1, but I don't know now. I feel like it's the
You're
same
going to
as
make it number 1?
I was going to make it number 1,
wow.
but it's also.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like 2 weeks from now, Star Wars is going to be gone from the collective consciousness of the internet.
And then we're going to be talking about not the next big saga or the next big epic, but the next movie that came out of nowhere that people weren't expecting. Stuff like Knives Out, or, like that people just weren't expecting. That's not a franchise. It's just a movie.
So I don't think Star Wars is a super strong entry because I just don't think anybody's going to care about it too much. They're going to be far more excited about season 2 of Mandalorian than they are about. Which
we've gotten official confirmation that season 2 of Mandalorian is coming from Jon Favreau himself in 2020. So,
my number 4, The Irishman. Now, remember, my definition of the best is not even necessarily movies that I loved, but movies that I think left the biggest footprint on the year in people's like minds. And The Irishman is a great movie.
I keep meaning to watch it, but it's so daunting because of how long it is.
It does not feel like 3 hours. Okay. Just like Endgame did not feel like 3 hours. This movie does not feel like 3 hours. And it is, I mean, this is just another classic, like an immediate classic, award-winning movie. Yep. It's got, and I mean, there's certain actors that are just so good that anything they do, they're going to win an award in because they don't take, everything. Yeah. They only take what is good.
It is a Scorsese movie too.
Yeah, it's Scorsese. It's mobster legends like Hoffa. There's little things like his fascination with ice cream and stuff like that just kind of like makes it quirky and interesting, and they use the de-aging techniques to good effect. It's just a great movie. So it's not really a topic that I care about per se.
Yeah, I was going to say that because that's what was stopping me from watching it, and why I haven't watched it yet is because I don't really care for mobster movies that much.
Yeah.
But then I say that, and I'm like, one of a top 100 list, The Departed is on that list for me. And The Departed is a mobster movie. Yeah. And that is a crazy one. So I'm like, maybe I actually can watch it and enjoy it.
It's like my number 1 movie of all time, Shawshank Redemption. It's a period piece and it's prison. And I don't care about or watch, like, it's not like I watch tons of those kind of movies. Yeah. I just don't. But a great movie is a great movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think everyone should try to watch The Irishman.
And if you don't know where The Irishman's at, it's on Netflix. It is actually a Netflix movie, 3.5 hours long.
And Scorsese says, please, please, please do not watch it on your phone.
Yes.
He gets newfangled kids, you need to stop it.
Don't watch it on your laptop either. Watch it on a proper TV, damn it. I don't know.
The laptop is the least qualified format, but by all means, watch it on your phone. Do whatever you want. Because
Scorsese doesn't want you to. We don't care.
My number 3, and again, I'm trying to go back through the whole year. I'm trying to remember how excited I was or wasn't throughout the whole year.
And it's hard to do this list because you're not thinking in January, I'm going to put this movie down because I know at the end of the year it's going to be on this list.
But back in January, maybe February, I can't quite remember, Alita battling.
Also on my list.
I loved it so much. It was just so good. That format, I would watch anime nonstop if it was in that format.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's really not much to say about it other than it was like people trying to shit on it because, big eyes, anime, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then everybody went to go watch it and they're like, we have made a mistake because this movie is actually really good.
So good.
And I mean, they need to do another one. They need to do 10 more of those.
I'm sad because I feel like I haven't heard anything about a second one.
Yeah.
It did well, like it didn't flop, but I don't think it obviously didn't do $1 billion well because then it would have had like a whole fleet of movies with it.
I mean, we have Avatar 5 in the works, but we don't know.
Wait,
Avatar 5, yeah. It's going all the way out to 5.
Oh, yeah, but Avatar 2 didn't even get announced until 15 years later after the first one. So
that's
if I have to wait that long for Alita battle,
I'm going to be angry.
All right, my number 2, Avengers Endgame.
Also on my list, but as a tie for possibly number 1.
It is kind of a tie for my number 1. It is. It is my legitimate number 1. It's the movie that I legitimately like the most, but I put it as number 2 on purpose. It's a great movie. And again, it had the most impact this year. Definitely, by far, it had the most impact this year on the world.
Not even just on the world, but I mean, obviously it's a 10-year franchise in the making.
Yeah.
But even there was a movie that came out shortly after Endgame that was affected by Endgame.
Yeah.
It's like Far From Home, Spider-Man Far From Home. They had a whole segment on what happened during Endgame. Like it's even affecting other movies that much.
What makes me a little bit sad is the fact that Black Widow is going to be set before Endgame. So it doesn't matter so much.
Yeah. I'm honestly,
for the next movie.
I'm honestly only curious to go watch Black Widow because of what's his name? Oh God.
Because the sheriff.
Yeah, the Russian.
The Russian.
The American, the Russian.
You know it's going to be a
David
good
Harbour.
movie. It's going to be a good movie. It's just weird to watch a previous movie. It's like a prequel that then has flashbacks to 20 years before. So it's really like a prequel with a prequel. I don't know. I want to see what's after Spider-Man Homecoming and after Endgame.
It's funny that you said that because I saw a picture today that made me laugh. It had Wanda on the cover with her brother. So in Avengers 2, I think it was, the cover with a Quicksilver who died. And then it had Endgame, or not Infinity War. And the cover was Wanda and Vision. And the last one was Wanda and Doctor Strange, because they're going to be in the new Doctor Strange movie. And Doctor Strange's eyes are all wide, like, am I going to die?
And that's awesome. That's awesome. All right. My number 1, which makes no sense, just like the movie itself, The Lighthouse.
Interesting. Haven't seen it.
So this movie is filmed on 35 millimeter film.
Okay.
Which meant the cameras were like so low exposure that they had to bring on like super intense lights and then diffuse things to make it seem like it was daytime and all this weird stuff. It's got the same actors, Glitter Batman,
Robert Pattinson, William Dafoe.
It's kind of vaguely Lovecraftian in this like descent into madness and horror. And there's tentacles and there's dead mermaids and there's masturbation and there's just so much weirdness. And I mean, this could be damaging to your psyche just to watch the movie.
So it's funny you say that because we are planning another episode shortly in the future that is also going to be very damaging to all of our psyche.
Yeah.
And we'll
you can thank Gabby for that one. that one's damaging in probably a not good way.
It was funny because I heard someone else talking about that. Like, this movie is best viewed while drunk, while high, or while very tired. And actually, probably all three for the best effect.
So, yeah, The Lighthouse, it's just so unique. And it shows, I mean, as much as people want to complain that the billion-dollar movies, franchises like Marvel are overtaking theaters and there's no real cinema anymore, it shows that directors and visionaries can still like really push the limits of their artistic vision and create something really unique. And I think The Lighthouse is the most mainstream of what is effectively an indie movie.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's got like real actors, and it had a pretty wide release. It probably didn't stay in theaters very long, but it had a pretty wide release. Whereas normally these kind of movies, you'd have to go to the Sundance Film Festival. Sundance Film Festival to see this kind of things.
Yep.
But no, here it was. It made it to theaters. Cinema is not dead.
It scared some people. So.
I'm sure most people would say, yeah, but my entire rest of my list is like pretty mainstream.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's fair. Okay, so what is it, 2, I think? Yeah, because I had Alita, Star Wars, and Endgame on my list. But the other 2 that were not on my list, and also, I know I keep saying a tie for first, and you're going to laugh at me on this one, but I had to put it as a tie for first because I've actually seen it twice, and it's been a while since I've paid to go to a movie twice. I mean, I'll watch a movie repeatedly if I own it.
Yeah.
But I paid to go to the movie theater and watch this twice, and that was Frozen 2.
So I did like Frozen 2.
Okay.
I did. I don't see, I'm not gonna make fun of you for it being number one, and I'm sure it's a $1 billion movie. Did very well. It was good.
It seems like the year of 2019 for me is you could make it onto my top 5 list if you have catchy songs, because that's what it feels like. You know, The Witcher, and then Frozen 2. There's a few other ones that had catchy songs. Oh, Stranger Things. All of them had really catchy songs. But yeah, Frozen 2 I really liked it a lot, and I thought they were going when I saw the trailer, I thought they were going to go in a completely different direction, and they didn't go that direction, and I'm happy that they didn't, because I was like, oh, you know, Anna's going to get powers and yada, yada, and that never happened.
I never thought that until you kept going on and on about it, and so then I was like, is she going to get powers? And then she didn't get powers, and I was like, okay. Here's these characters I don't really know too well, and I had no real expectations except what James said, and he was wrong, so...
And I would like to point out Olaf in that fucking movie. It's so funny. He was going through some weird like midlife crisis. It was great. And then, I always like there's a song that he sings, or actually he sings it with Anna. And one of the lines is, we all get a little bit older, and every time I'm in the car, I'm like, fuck you, Olaf, I'm not getting older. That's funny.
My favorite part is when he's doing the recap of Frozen 1, and it just keeps getting darker and darker.
And her parents die. You're like, what the hell? And then also on my list, probably number 5, because there was, other movies on here, but How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World. I wanted to put that one on there because it was me and my girlfriend's movie this year. We both loved it. We both planning on cosplaying from it soon, but it was just such a good movie. It was ridiculously good, and it had no business being that good as a DreamWorks movie, because DreamWorks doesn't make good movies, apparently, except for How to Train Your Dragon.
Didn't they make Shrek? No? Or is that Pixar?
Yeah, I mean, I think DreamWorks made Shrek, but how long has it been since Shrek has come out?
That's fair.
But no, this one was really good. And then, they introduced the Light Fury, and then they had babies, and then it showed them getting married. It was just really good. I liked it a lot. That's our movies.
There you go. So best gadgets.
Oh, I guess gadgets. Okay. That's fine. I think you have your gadgets on your list by specific gadget. I kind of went a little bit more broad. So instead of saying, TCL 60-inch, blah, 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 I just went big TV or something. Instead of just saying it'll make sense when we get there.
All right. One of my 5 things is technically more of a technology as opposed to a gadget. You can't buy it per se. So I'm not totally disagreeing with you, but I expect to put in links so that if people want to buy the gadgets that I like, then they can. And if yours is like, but they can't, well, then there you go.
Well, I can put links in for mine, but I know one of them is sold out. So,
so my number 5 is the iPhone Watch. This is one of those things where, like, the first generation of smartphones, which was iPhone 1, was not great. It was okay. And early adopters were like, this is amazing. I did not buy an iPhone 1.
I was a Razor kid.
But that wasn't a smartphone.
It's like,
right? Like iPhones are what count.
Yeah.
So Androids that copied iPhones then that was when there was actually like a whole ecosystem of smartphones.
Yep.
But before that, there was like flip phones and there was like, but those weren't smartphones, The first generation of iWatch was kind of like that. Like I didn't care. And I definitely didn't care about the Samsung equivalent of smartwatch. And then the next year came out and I was like, yeah, I still don't care. Man, I see I'm so envious of so many people in the business world that use their, and I don't know if this has equivalent functionality in the Android world, but the iWatch in the business world is used to such good effect. Like they all have them and they're all just glancing as they get messages and deciding based off of a simple glance whether they should pull their phone out of their pocket and actually do stuff.
Yep, I've seen it at my job too. They just like, no, I don't need that.
Yeah, I don't need that. And I'm like, that's what I want. That's what I want. Until I can get like a brain implant.
So just Minority Reported away.
Yeah, like that's what I want. So that's my number 5 gadget.
So my number 5. So like I was saying, it went a little bit more broad, but it still makes sense. I picked smart bulbs.
Okay, yeah.
Smart bulbs are just freaking awesome. Like,
they are.
You have them here. We use them for the party here. You can change colors. You can use any kind of Alexa or Google or anything to turn them on and off. You can set timers. You can do all this stuff, all the hues, everything. It was just, they're so freaking cool.
When I bought my first Hue lights like 5 years ago, and back then I would have never thought that my entire downstairs, every single room in there has Wi-Fi controllable lights. And people are like, is it brighter in here? Why is it brighter in here? But it's because I have timers on everything. So about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, as the sun starts like going past, it's still like outside it's bright, but it's gone past my windows and my living room gets dim. Boom, all the lights like flicker on. And yeah, I just love it. It's so good. Yeah, I agree with that. That is a good technology that has reached a cheap price point.
Yep.
That you can afford to do this stuff.
I wanted to point this out too, because our the apartment that my girlfriend and I live in now, we only have one light switch that controls the fan and the light.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not trying to say I'm lazy, but it is kind of annoying. I want to turn off the light switch. It turns off the fan. Shit. Okay, I need the fan on, but I still need the light off. So now I need to pull on the string. And I was like, I'd rather just sit in my bed and be like, hey, turn off the light. Oh, there it goes. It's off. Cool. Done.
Yep. And it's when you stop
first world problem.
Yeah, when you stop using switches and you actually start using your voice to control all your lights, that's the next like laziness that is just, it's so good. Because when I go into my bedroom and I'm like, well, before I would have had to like turn a switch off and one of us would have had to walk to the bed in darkness or whatever.
Yep.
No, now I'm just like, okay, no, Alexa, turn on my side lamp. And then
I just can't wait for 5 years from now and be like, hey, Alexa, just feed me. Put it in my mouth for me.
And that's my number 4 is Alexa.
Honestly, it's actually on my list too.
I have had Alexa for 3 or 4 years and I never used it. And this year I use Alexa every single day. I tell it, oh, can you make the downstairs warmer? Can you make the downstairs cooler? Hey, can you microwave for 90?
I was gonna say you stepped up and got even a smart microwave now, and just
I love it. It's so good. And timers, the timers are so much better with Alexa than they are with my phone. They're easier to manage. The interaction with it is so good. I use it to manage my sous vide cooking. Yeah, I'm like, hey, can you set the temperature to 131 degrees? And it's just all these different things that have come together to be very much like a Star Trek experience.
Yeah. I actually, again, it was on my list, but there was something specific about it that I put on my list.
Oh, what was that?
And that was Samuel L. Jackson's voice.
You're so ridiculous.
Unfortunately, when I was looking in it, because we got it on your Alexa, the explicit pack is not out yet.
That's why it's not really.
Yeah, they made it seem like it was out. It's a trial period, and then I guess the explicit pack is coming.
Oh, okay.
So it's not that it's not out. It's just, I guess we have to wait for something. I don't know.
One day it'll start, cussing at us, and then there you go. So my number 3 is only applicable probably to cosplayers. The LG Styler. This is a personal, smart, Wi-Fi controlled, what do you call a dry? Oh, it's a personal dry cleaning device.
Oh,
it's a closet. You put things in, and it uses AI to perfectly dry clean it, to get rid of wrinkles and all that kind of stuff. And I tell you what, doing films with costumes and cosplay things of like, hey, we just like, because for some reason cosplayers always order pieces that show up like the day of the convention.
Yep.
And you take it out and it has all these wrinkles, and then it's like, okay, we'll get out the steamer and try. And I hate using steamers. I hate it. But here is this like magic Star Trek closet that you put stuff on the hanger inside the closet, and then you close it, and then it uses like AI technology to perfectly know how to dry clean it. And it's your own dry cleaner in your house right there. It is super cool. It is way too expensive, even for me. It's like $1,100. But I have spent $300 on my steam cleaner device thing that I use. And so it's not crazy. It's not totally crazy.
Yeah, it's not.
Man. But also I can move my steam cleaner to hotel rooms.
Yeah.
And I can't
take your closet.
It's like a small refrigerator or something like that.
Next on my list was the Oculus Quest. So specifically the Quest, because it's the most advanced, one of the, I don't want to get inflamed for it, one of the most advanced VR units we currently have. And I mean, VR is just awesome.
I mean, it's the most advanced at the price point.
Yes, that's what I wanted to point out too. It's a very fair price point because
Valve. So it's not the highest resolution, but it's
fair. Valve has one that was out, and it's I think $1,000, and I was like, no thanks, I'm not going to pay.
But it's better.
It is better, but I don't. I mean, I just want to. Yeah, I want the best VR, but I don't have the money to pay for the best VR. I want the introductory VR.
So that's called Facebook money.
Yep. And so the Oculus Quest is actually affordable. It's got, all the games you need, Beat Saber, Vacation Simulator, Job Simulator, Rick and Morty's.
It's one of those things where, back in the day, you had Betamax, which was higher quality, and you had VHS that was lower quality. And you had things like Laserdisc, which was higher quality. But which one? The cheapest thing.
Yep.
And it was kind of junk, but it got humanity through that dark period before DVDs.
DVDs and Blu-rays.
It's wireless VR is so much better. It's such a huge difference. I kept wanting to pull out the wireless VR for you guys, but we always do other stuff. So I just,
I mean, it's like, yes, I really would like to try out the VR because I still have yet to even play Beat Saber. And
I'm apparently going to play it tonight.
I'm going to be in a tournament tonight now, apparently. But it's every time you come over, you're like, but there's a board game we want to play or something. Just take
that's a legit technology of 2019. My number 2 item was the June oven, which might sound strange because I have the Echo oven, not the June oven. But the Echo oven is a microwave plus convection oven.
An air fryer too,
plus
right?
Air fryer. Yeah. And the June oven is 7 devices. Not just 3. It also includes a dehydrator. I think it will tie your shoes. I don't know. It does a lot of stuff. It has cameras so that it will cook your food to perfection. So I have my microwave, the Echo oven. It has a thermometer, and so I can tell it roast a chicken, and it will roast a chicken to exact perfect temperature. But the June oven can cook the chicken to perfect golden brownness. And that's like, yeah, your chicken might be perfectly like healthy cooked, like it's not going to make you sick. And that's great. But the June oven's going to go the next step and make sure that it's actually the right, like crispy goldenness. Yep. And so, yeah, the June oven, it seems the closest thing we have to a Star Trek cooking experience. And so I'm super envious, even though I literally just got mine a couple weeks ago.
You're like, I need to change it out.
If I could have doubled my pay for the thing, I could have got 4 more gadgets in one.
Is it a rehydrator like Star Wars or Star Trek? So you can just,
that could be one of 7.
Put in one of the little pill things and just I'm gonna get made fun of for this one, but this was so cool. So it's called the Disney Princess Live Your Story Castle. Okay. I saw it at Hallmark because that's where my girlfriend works. It's a castle, giant castle, and it has all the famous Disney princesses in front of it on little stands. Like they look like amiibos, basically, is the best way to explain it. And you can hit a button and it starts playing the traditional Disney theme.
Okay.
You can then take out any one of the princesses. So I can take out Jasmine, pop it right in the center. It starts playing a whole new world. I can take that one out. I can pop in Belle. It starts playing, I don't remember what song it was all of a sudden, but it starts playing Belle's song. You can take it out. You can put an Ariel's. It starts playing the Little Mermaid song. Each one of these is coded to when you put it in, it plays that princess's song. And I swear to you, for 10 minutes while I was waiting to pick up my girlfriend, I was playing with these damn things. And I was like, this is so awesome. Like I could just keep moving it around. And there was, I think, 8 or 9 princesses. So.
Okay.
And it's technically an ornament. That's what's funny about it.
Okay. Wait, though, how's it an ornament?
I don't know how it hangs because it's huge, but if you looked it up on Hallmark, it's listed as an ornament. I don't know how it works.
Figures, ornaments, and you take them off the tree to
you could probably do that. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We have something like that too at our house with the Harry Potter castle. We have, 3 Harry, Ron, and Hermione hanging on the tree, and you can actually hit a button and they're all plugged into the castle, and the castle will start speaking their lines for whoever you hit. It's pretty cool. But this one was just, it was just fun just popping them on and off. And I was like, I had to put this on there just because I was having so much fun with it.
Okay. That's legit. My number 1 is the Sony WF-1000XM3 noise canceling headphones. I have never had noise canceling headphones before. And the sound is so good. And it's like, they're comfortable and they're easy to charge and they work great with my phone. And, I'm used to noise canceling headphones being these kind of like big boxy things that go over your ears. And I'm not against that. Actually, my headphones that I use on my computer are big boxy.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that. But in terms of getting noise canceling functionality when you're on an airplane, when you're out in public and stuff, it's a great experience. I really like it. And if you had asked me 3 years ago if I liked Bluetooth headphones, I would have said, like, no, who wants that? Like, I don't want to have to charge cables or something like that. Like, I just want to always plug it in. But now that the vast majority of smartphones no longer have headphone ports, it kind of made me forced me to.
Yeah.
And I'm not against it. The experience is better. It is just so good. And yeah, I really like them.
It's kind of funny because mine is almost the same thing. Mine's the Musicozy sleep headphones / eye mask.
Okay.
So they're also Bluetooth headphones, but they're also a giant mask that goes over your face, like an eye mask. And it's one of those. The best way to describe it, I hate putting headphones in when I'm trying to sleep because they don't work. They'll either fall out, they hurt when you lay on them too much. Yeah. So these were specifically designed to not be painful, to work Bluetooth, to have like a sleep setting. And the eye mask, has lights and stuff that can help bring you down to sleep, all this other crazy stuff. And I was just like, yeah, these are awesome.
Okay. That sounds cool.
Yeah. And if you look at them, it looks like a Daft Punk movie or a Daft Punk music video or something because they're huge. They have lights on the outside and they go over your ear. It just looks like it's like a weird, like VR
the lights
type
don't
thing.
bother Fabi?
She's usually snoring and drooling on her side of the bed. So I'm just kidding.
I sleep typically within seconds, so
I have a very, very hard time getting to sleep at night, so it helps.
Buddhism, meditation, it works. All right, so best video game.
Video games. All right, what's your number 5? My
number 5 is Control. Are you familiar with Control?
I'm very familiar with Control.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised to, I'm more surprised to hear you say it because Control got shit on for no apparent reason. Because Control is a very good game.
It is a very good game.
It's a very good game. It did not make the money it should have made. I don't even know how to explain it because
here, to be fair, the games that got the most attention this year, I did not think lived up to their hype. So there's some games that I was like, well, should I put Kingdom Hearts on here?
Yeah, I didn't even.
Nobody cared.
I didn't even put.
I mean, everybody cared until it came out, and then very quickly it was just gone. And Death Stranding, oh my God, it was so big, crazy big, and then nobody cared. It's just gone. So, no, in this category, I actually went with games I like, as opposed to games that I thought were like so significant to the.
That's fair.
To cultural consciousness.
That's fair.
Yeah. What's your number 5?
My number 5. Well, again, I don't have them in any particular order. But actually in this one, I could probably put it in order. Graveyard Keeper. Are you familiar with Stardew Valley? No. So Stardew Valley is like a hyper intense farming game where you can fish, you can farm, you can mine, you can go into a cave and fight monsters. And your whole thing is to just earn money to go to the next season to unlock more and more stuff.
Okay.
Graveyard Keeper is exactly like that, except it's a graveyard.
And Steam, PlayStation, what is it?
I'm playing it on my PlayStation. I believe it's also on Steam.
Okay.
It's almost the exact same idea as Stardew Valley is, but instead of just doing farming and stuff like that, you're also maintaining a graveyard, a church.
I'm gonna check it out. It sounds cool.
It's pretty fun.
Does it have an end?
There is an end eventually. It does take a while to get there though.
Okay.
It's not a couple hours game. You'll have to put some time into it. But I've also found out that I've been doing it the way wrong, because I just am like, well, I want to get this skill unlocked so I can cut down and get more trees.
So you.
And then they're like, if you just did it this way, it's a lot easier. Damn it. But yeah, it's fun because, and then there's also different endings. So you can level up your church to the best possible church and have that ending. Or there is, I forgot what his name was, but some guy who's trying to take down the church and you can side with him and start helping him out and get I guess you can call it the bad end. It's I guess morality says if it's good or bad. I don't know, but it's super fun. I've been enjoying it. And they have expansions slightly named after famous things. So there's Stranger Sins. Okay. And I think it's called Breaking Things or something like that, like a Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
And then in Stranger Sins, you can get a zombie to help sell your stuff while you're not there. So you can help it, you can have your undead person man your store while you're just doing stuff. I don't know. And then in the other one, you can make a bar. So the whole thing is you go to the bar in this one to sell most of your stuff. You can make your own bar in one of the expansions. So it's super fun. I've been playing it a lot.
So my number 4 is Untitled Goose Game. Now, to be fair, this one is a little bit like cultural consciousness, like unlike all the other games, like this game, like so many comedians, so much, like I just see references to this game constantly.
The last game I've seen memed this hard, I think, was like maybe Doki Doki Literature Club. But it's been a while since like everybody and their mother is using this meme format.
You don't even need to play this game. It's just the memes that come out of this game. That's it. That's all you need. It's great.
And I guess the best way to, because I heard them describe it, like the creators of the game, because it's coming to PlayStation. Actually, it's already out on PlayStation. I forgot we announced that. It's already on PlayStation. It's also out on PC. But basically, you're just a dickhead goose who's just stealing shit from the farmer. That's the whole point of the game. It's like you're not a good guy in this one. You're an asshole. So that's what makes it, I think, even funnier. You're goose, yeah.
Number 4.
Number 4 for me. I'm going to say I just recently started playing it, so I'm going to say Enter the Gungeon. You would probably not be surprised that I have several roguelikes on this list because that's my apparently format of games.
Yeah.
I have consciously been looking for roguelikes now because I know that's what I like.
No, that's fair.
Enter the Gungeon is a top-down twin stick shooter that you can get several different guns, several abilities and relics and stuff, and you just have to get down to the 3rd or 4th floor. You do that, you start over. There's 4 different classes. There's all kinds of things to unlock. So it's just fun.
I thought you were going to say it was some sort of roguelike deck builder.
No, but there is a roguelike deck builder on my list. But this one's really funny because the guns themselves, like, you know how Borderlands has really funny guns? Well, this one has, they call them, like, there's one that's called the mailbox that shoots letters.
Okay.
There is a bullet that shoots guns instead of a gun that shoots bullets. And there's just all kinds of stuff. And the coolest thing about it is, I didn't even realize it was happening until I saw it actually happen. There's some relics that partner with guns that combine into a better version.
Okay.
And there's also some guns that combine with other guns. And it just happens. You don't have to make it do it. So I had an M16 like assault rifle that I was walking around shooting stuff with. And then I picked up a shock rifle and they melded together to shoot electricity and bullets at the same time. And I was like, when did this happen? This is so cool. And there was another one that I had a relic that gives me an extra heart.
Yeah.
And the gun just does whatever. But they combined when I picked it up, and when it hit me, it spawned 4 guns on all sides of me to shoot everything for 3 or 4 seconds, like a defense mechanism thing.
The primary reason why I own 10 to 15 roguelikes is because I love the equipment drop of roguelikes. I just hate everything else about roguelikes. And if you like I love RPGs. So if you approach a roguelike as an RPG, it's exactly as much fun as any other RPG until you die.
Yeah.
Until you die, it's exactly as much fun.
Well, see,
and that's what tricks me.
Yeah. And this one is a little bit more interesting because so you don't level up like an RPG. You unlock stuff, but the stuff you unlock spawns more frequently than the crappy stuff. So technically, even if you die and you go unlock another gun, that gun will show up in the dungeon at some point when you're playing it more frequently than the crappy guns will. So it actually is kind of progressing you forward in a weird way. But I don't know. I just like roguelikes. That's just my thing.
So my number 3, Disco Elysium.
The RPG of all RPGs this year, apparently. It won several awards.
It's amazing. It's if you like Planescape, if you like it's an isometric RPG that's funny, kind of like point and clicks or anything that. And it's amazing.
There's not much to say other than it won 4 fucking awards. Go play it.
Go play it.
That's it. My number 3, if we're doing that, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
I wanted to put it on my list, but I haven't played it. So I was like...
And it's not higher on my list because I'm having issues with it.
Yeah.
Some actual hardware issues where the game will restart or freeze or stop because it wasn't play tested thoroughly. So...
Well, it's EA.
Yeah.
They don't have enough money to spend on QA.
Don't get me started on EA. I'm so mad too because of what I've played. The game is amazing. I love how it plays. I love all the techniques, all the fighting, everything. I love it. And I'm also really, I guess, happy, maybe upset, because I was like, oh, I always put my games on the second from the hardest difficult, not the hardest. I'm not that crazy because I don't start games like that, but I'll go from like the second from the hardest. And I started mine on this one, and it's legitimately fucking hard, like really hard. And so I was like, okay, maybe I might need to scale back a little bit, but I've uninstalled it from my PlayStation because I've just been having so many issues with it.
That's brutal. I mean, just to uninstall it, you just basically like, what's the odds that there's not going to be enough fun new games to keep you from installing it again?
Yeah.
And so that's probably it.
Yep.
You know, my number 2, and this I cheated on, is because it was out last year, but it came out on PC this year.
Okay.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
That's fair. That's fair.
Amazing game, and it's on PC, so I don't have to use the stupid controller. I own it on PS4, so I mean, whatever. But I just hate, I hate shooters on.
You're a mouse and keyboard guy.
Mouse and keyboard for shooters, 100%. I love controller, like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Love controller.
Enter the Gungeon. It is originally, it was a PC game, and that's on a PS4. I don't know if I would have played it as a PC game because it's listed as a twin stick shooter. Like, it's really difficult to play it on keyboard and mouse, but people have done it. So I don't know. My number 2, Borderlands 3.
And again, I've never played any Borderlands games, but I felt like it deserved to be on the list. So I'm glad you put it there.
Borderlands 3 is just a good game. The Mad Moxie DLC just came out where you can get more guns, and Jack is back, and it's just awesome. It's a good game. I love playing it. And I'm really glad that Gearbox started listening to people. Originally, they were going back and every week, legitimately every week, rebalancing all of the classes when they were like, can you just fix the UI? Maybe start there because people have issues with it. They finally listened and fixed the UI. So
nice.
It was a significant improvement for me. Like, I would hit start and it would just be like, well, I'm going to go to the bathroom while the menu comes up. But now it's like I hit start and it actually
are they still coming out with new content?
Yeah, the Mad Moxie DLC just dropped, I think, a few days ago. And yeah, it's huge. It's actually the first time, I think, in Borderlands where it's required 4-person content.
Wow.
You need to play that because it's so hard you can't do it yourself. So, and surprisingly, not my number 1 game. I don't think, if you know me,
I think if you were to predict what your number 1 game of 2019 would have been based off of how often you talked about it, I feel like Borderlands 3 might have been there. So it's good that it hit number 2.
It is. But I mean, for how long you've known me and how long this year has been, you might have heard me specifically talk about another game, and that's my number 1.
All right. So my number 1 is Mortal Kombat 11. This is only me. It's just my own personal enjoyment. It's the game that I just love fighting games. I love fighting games with story where I don't have to play with other people and I can just enjoy the story.
That's fair.
And it's so cinematic and I'm so enthralled with the story. It's just like those people, same as Injustice 2. I actually don't care. I don't care that much about Mortal Kombat, other than the fact that I've been playing Mortal Kombat since Mortal Kombat 1 way back on Sega Genesis, which is where I played it, where you could have blood. So I have a lot of history with Mortal Kombat. I do love Mortal Kombat, the franchise.
Even the quote unquote B movies. I don't think they're B movies because I like them a lot.
I like them a lot. Yeah. So, yep, I'm totally enjoying it. And to be fair, I only started, I bought Mortal Kombat 11 a long time ago, but I only actually found time to play it in the last month because of all the holidays and stuff. So,
and Terminator is actually out, I believe, now for it as a playable character.
It is, yeah. I haven't bought that DLC yet.
Yeah,
but
it's weird. Did you ever watch Mortal Kombat Annihilation? Not Annihilation. What was it called? Was it Annihilation? I think it might have been the YouTube series that actually just went to a DVD because it was so good. So if you haven't seen it yet, it's an amazing like fan made story.
Oh, no, then maybe I have, because I have.
There was one about Raiden being stuck, I guess, in a human body, and he was like in a mental institution, and he had to get out. And the only way for him to get out is for him to die, so he can be released from his meat prison.
Yeah.
and there was Sonya was in there. It was really, really well done, fan made. So it was really cool for the story. I just wonder if you've seen that.
I'll check it out.
And my number one is, to no surprise if you know me, Slay the Spire. What do I say about Slay? And on top of that,
that's an award-winning game.
It is an award-winning game, and they have just I think it's beta version right now, but they have released an official new class. So there's been a lot of mods where I can play as Sailor Moon, I can play as Rick and Morty, whatever. People have made mods for this, but there's officially a fourth class now, and she is insane. And I haven't gotten a chance to play it yet because I've been trying to work my way through the actual not story of the game, but like the actual game itself, and not jumping into the beta version because I can't unlock achievements there. Okay. So I'm a trophy hunter. But she's crazy. She jumps back and forth between calm and wrath. Yeah. So in wrath, she does double damage. She takes double damage. In calm, she generates more mana. I don't know how it works because I haven't got a chance with it, but it's cool. She goes back and forth between these two forms.
The you can see some of what the game designers have released. Like they've released pretty long videos explaining like their motivations and their design decisions that they made. And these people are very passionate about games. And I do love supporting when the people creating something are putting their heart and soul into something. Yep. So,
and maybe I can entice you to play it again because while technically not a story, there is a story in the game. Every time you go to an event space, there's a chance that it'll either be just a regular monster or it'll trigger an event. And each of these events, when put side by side, actually create a story. And there's also now a final boss too in the game. And the final boss
it's getting close. I am very much a story person. Like I read a book every 3 to 4 days now. Literally a whole book every 3 to 4 days. And I listen to an audio book every 5 to 7 days. So I need video games that really just like feed me a bunch of story. But if they're adding more story stuff, then maybe. Actually, I was thinking about getting into or getting back into Heroes of the Storm. No, what's the Blizzard card game?
Oh, Hearthstone?
Hearthstone. I was like, you know what? Maybe I should go back to it.
There's no story in Hearthstone.
I thought there was a story in some of the single player ones.
Okay, so there is single player. Okay, I guess I wouldn't necessarily call it a story mode or like a campaign mode. Yeah. It's just expansions. But they do have story, and you do play by yourself.
At the very beginning there was story, and then after you leveled up your classes, like it was basically just like that.
There's a lot of it actually now. So now that you said that, the single player campaigns.
That's all I care about.
It's story based. There's a lot of story based, and actually, the last 2 or 3 expansions. The 1-player solo mode expansion led into the next expansion of cards that they're going to talk about. So it's pretty cool. Like the 2 expansions ago, we were talking about the League of Evil Explorers or the League of Explorers or something like that, which led into the League of Explorers cards, which then led into the dragons, where we're at now. We're in dragons, all dragons. There's a lot of dragons. And my honorable mention, I know we didn't do these for any of them, but Heroes of the Storm, because I always play it. But... and I don't think I've even told you this. Ever since the last board game we've played here, I got really upset with myself at being too competitive at literally everything I try to do. Yeah. So I've stopped playing competitive games. Just all competitive games. So I'll play Slay the Spire or something because it's not competitive. I'm just playing the game. Enter the Gungeon is just a repetitive game. I haven't played competitive games since the last time we've played a board game. So.
Okay. I think that might be I think the healthiest thing is to try to understand what makes you so competitive so that you can unhook that from your well-being. But until you can do that, I think it's a personal good thing for because you don't, when you flood your system with excess adrenaline, then you're losing seconds or minutes or hours off your life. And I just you're like, do I really want to die earlier?
Just because I didn't win a game? Yeah.
Yeah. No. So cool.
And speaking of the last topic, board games.
Board games. So, I I think we're, we started very, very strict. The top of this channel, or the top of this episode, was literally things from 2019.
Yep.
And I feel like we've started creeping in some 2018 and 2017.
Well, so to be fair, the way I was trying to pitch this episode to you was, even if it was stuff that we discovered in 2019, like we hadn't played any of this stuff until 2019.
But it's just that applies to games very well. But it's kind of weird if you watch a movie from 10 years ago and you're like, I just discovered it. Like, no, that's not right.
I just watched Donnie Darko that's a 20-year-old movie. No.
But board games literally take a while to travel around the world.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
and apparently sometimes they even take a while for you to get them because Wingspan is still on the way somewhere.
Well, I actually need to look into it because, with all those fires in Australia, because I ordered it from an Australian board game store, I'm like, will I ever get it? Does that board game store even exist? I don't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cheap board game, and I'd feel worse for the board game store that
burned down.
Burned down than a board game. Like, keep my game, like pay for, a wall or something. I don't know. But my number 5 for board games, the DC deck building franchise. DC Rebirth came out, which we have, and we played, and I loved. But we have gotten so much enjoyment from this series this year.
Yep.
I've had it for years, and for some reason, this year we started really pulling it out, and it seems like every 2.5 months we play a night of it.
Yep.
And I love it every single time.
Yep. It's good fun. I like the 2-on-2 one that we did. That was really fun.
Yeah, that was cool.
I like that. I don't remember which version that was, but I specifically
Versus. That's I think it's called Versus.
The DC deck builder one?
Yeah, because it's well, I think it's got like a subtitle Versus, and then there's different versions of it that have like the different characters, like Batman versus Joker, and
the one I like the most though, Fear Itself was. Or no, is it? No, it's not Fear Itself. Why do I keep saying Fear Itself? I always say Fear Itself, but it's not.
Oh,
it's
Villains, Sinister.
It starts with an F. That's why I keep saying Fear Itself, but it's not.
Yeah, that's the one I've had the longest.
Yeah,
that was the first one I had.
The other one where you play as the villains instead of the heroes. Yeah, that one. My number 5 is Secret Hitler. And we've talked about it before. It's a super fun party game. We're going to play a version of it soon. So when we get board games back up, I'm going to bring the Donner Dinner Party, which is basically almost the same thing. Not quite, but close enough. But Secret Hitler, one person is Hitler, half of the people are fascists and half aren't. And you all have your own agenda that you're trying to push forward. And you're all secretly voting on things to happen that you don't know if it's going to go through or not. And so the whole goal is for Hitler to be Hitler and take over everything, for fascists to win, or for the people to win. Super fun because it's like the best way I can describe it is kind of like Werewolf. Where you all are trying to do things in secret, but you're trying to influence the game somehow by,
My favorite thing about Werewolf, so Werewolf is based off Mafia.
Yep.
And Mafia existed before the board game revolution. Werewolf, there's like literally like packaged things, but Mafia was like being passed around like universities and stuff. So because you don't need anything to play it. Just pieces of paper. And I've played with people who didn't speak English, but they knew how to play Mafia. So we could play Werewolf just easily well, and they could point and they could understand that they're a werewolf or they're a villager. Yep. And I think that's super kind of cool and interesting to play with people who don't speak the same language, but they've all played the game or versions of the game themselves. And so, it's super cool.
You just know, yeah.
My number 4, Terraforming Mars. There's been like 3 expansions this year. They went from people demanding expansions, and there was basically like one expansion, to this year they've released a ton. And especially I loved last week's expansion.
Yeah. Terraforming Mars is actually my number 1 for this year, because every time you say that we're going to play it, I'm like, yes, which corporation am I going to get? What am I going to get for this one? How am I going to do it? It's so fun. So that was my number 1. My number 4, I'd say, is Gloomhaven. And I know Gloomhaven might be a 2018 game, but we did start playing.
Technically 2017.
Yeah.
But, and this is the weirdness, right? Because it existed and then they did a Kickstarter. And so we got the second printing, and you literally couldn't buy this game until after, I think, the Kickstarter raised enough money that they could actually finally start populating board game stores and stuff. So, we got it in December of last year, and we tried to play it. We tried to put it together, and we played like a couple rounds, and we did it all wrong.
Yeah, and we were like, this game is stupid. Why are we playing? And then we learned how to play it.
Yeah, and it was great. It definitely is a absolute great game. You can see why it was in the top 10 of Board Game Geek for years.
Yeah, it was there for a long time.
Yeah.
So I think we're on your number 3 now?
So my number 3 is Gloomhaven.
Okay.
Yeah. So
my next one, since I don't have an order to mine, was Lord of the Rings Journeys into Middle-earth. So that was the companion-based.
And that was my number 1. That
was your number 1? Yeah. It's only less than that because there was one other one we played that I liked a little bit more. But yes, it's I guess you can say it's a legacy game because you do play more than one round of the game.
I feel like it's almost the best version of a legacy game because you have all the advantages of the legacy game. Like you don't know what's going to happen next, and you don't. How many times did we get totally shocked by what happened in a boss battle?
My favorite thing was, so I think it was like the 3rd or 4th map or level of whatever you want to call it. We were like, okay, well, the last time this happened, so we're just going to let this happen, or we're going to do this. And we did that. And the exact outcome we wanted to happen was the exact opposite thing of what we wanted to happen. We were like, well, shit. Because I remember we let one of the orcs, the big orcs or whatever it was, go. And we thought it was going to end up killing. And remember that the very last match, we were like, okay, we're going to throw everything we have at the main boss because he's going to get back up. And we're going to do it again, and he's going to get back up again. We know that's what he's going to do. And we brought him down the first time, and the game was like, no, he's actually dead. And we're like, what?
We overkilled him because we were so ready
for him to get back up. And we were ready for it.
We were so careful, and we were so like, don't be too close because then like we might all get wiped out. Like it was so, yeah. But I think we still only won with 2 rounds left or something.
I think we only had 1 round left. We hadn't killed him.
Oh, it was only Danny. Danny was the only one who had an action left.
Yep.
So we still, even if we hadn't, we still might have won, but it was unlikely. Yep. I don't know. It was great. It was a good, fun experience. I love the game. The only thing is that they sold a DLC campaign, and you think like, oh, it's digital. The campaign's digital, so it could be super cool. And we haven't played it yet, so I don't really know. But I want more characters.
Yes.
Like I don't want to play the same characters again in this new campaign.
And I would like, if it's possible, if we ever played Lord of the Rings again, I would like all of the characters to be present. Because I'm assuming that would make it a little bit easier. Because the one character we didn't play with is the healer. Yep. Well, no, I'm saying so like, because we have, there were 6 characters in there. There's only 5 spots. That's right. Okay.
They make you choose. Those bastards.
And then my last one, so my number 2, because Terraforming Mars has been number 1. My number 2 was Betrayal Legacy.
That was a good game. I actually was not sure if that was a 2019 game or not, but I had already compromised my values, so maybe I could have put it in. Man, that was a good game.
Yeah.
That was everything I want from a legacy game.
And it had all of our like hints at fandom, like, oh, here's a Doctor Who episode. We're not going to say it's Doctor Who, but we're going to say there's a blue box and there's a dude that travels around in it.
Yeah, here's hints to Cthulhu. There was a Cthulhu episode, a Frankenstein episode. Yeah, it had everything. Man, it's so good.
And I don't want to spoil it if you guys are trying to play it, but I did want to point out that the best thing for me that made it made my list was the fact that the villain of the entire game was staring at you the entire time, and we didn't even realize it.
I would have, I think we're going to be doing Pandemic Legacy Season 1 next.
Okay.
And what's nice about it is that there's Pandemic Legacy Season 2 after that. I really would play basically the same game, Betrayal, House on the Hill, Legacy, if they did it in seasons.
Yeah.
If I knew it was going to be like, okay, well, here's basically another set of characters and another whole box of secrets and same engine, right? I don't need like, I guess, different tiles even necessarily.
Just use the same. Well, okay. So yeah, I was gonna say, well, you can use the same tiles, but please let's not use the same one that we have the
blood marsh or whatever
that stops your movement on the very front. Which they were like, I think we looked that up. But like, there's like a 1 in 1,000 chance or something
There's
like that.
only one other person on the internet that posted the same problem.
How did this happen?
We survived. We got through it, but it hurt us. Yeah. My number 2 game, which is the last game that I haven't mentioned yet, is Nemesis.
Oh, that's right. I didn't play that one. No, I think I did. Did I? No, I didn't. I remember because it was one of the times I was sick and I couldn't come over.
Yeah. So that's Nemesis. It's a cooperative game, and the way it starts is you open from a hibernation pod on a ship, and there's a dead body from a crewman that is exploded. Like it's like the corpse is on the ground, and I think it's exploded. So something was inside it, and it sort of scampered off. So it's the opening to the movie Alien or something. And each of you have 2 missions, a personal mission.
I did play this.
You did play it.
Yeah.
And a corporate mission. Well, I now have even more expansions for it and more game modes. And there's like a 2-part where you play the first game where hopefully you survived, got back to Earth, escaped the ship. You blew up the ship, so all the aliens are dead. But then there's a second one where you play the CEO of the corporation who's brought a squad of Marines back to the ship to try to reclaim the ship and maybe reclaim some alien things to use.
That's awesome.
Just like the movie Aliens or whatever, where the evil corporation's trying to probably use bioweapons out of them or I don't know, whatever. It is super cool. I love the quality of the material, and I wish the only downside is that it is a longer game for setup.
Yeah.
And it's not the longest game of setup that we have, but it is like a longer game. And it's, I mean, there's a little bit of betrayal.
Yep.
And
not the game, like literal betrayal.
Yeah, literally, like you have 2 missions. One to basically like probably save yourself, and one to do what the corporation is asking you to do, which is probably asking you to like maybe kill everybody else and then set the ship to go back to Earth so that they can, collect all the aliens or whatever. And it's just some people in the group have been a little bit stressed, and I was like, I don't like to add games that have betrayal components when they're stressed out.
Yep.
So yeah.
I wanted to say, because we're at the bottom of the episode now, there was one honorable mention for this one as well, and I suddenly forgot what it was called, but it's the newest Cthulhu game that we've been playing.
Cthulhu Death May Die.
Yes.
It's not Legacy.
It's not, but it is, but it's not, because it's campaign based.
It is. Yeah. It's like,
but it doesn't permanently change anything.
Yeah. That is a great game.
Yeah.
That is a great, fun, action-packed game. And it's fast. Like the setup is pretty fast, and the put away is pretty fast.
Especially with how, like, I feel like the creators of this game specifically realized people were having issues with games that have tons of components. Like, where do I put them? Okay, I got them all out. Now, how do I put them all back?
Yeah.
They were like, okay, everything's in this box.
Yeah, it's so great. Yeah, Cthulhu Death May Die, it's one of those things where, like, if... so hopefully we're going to play through a lot more of the campaigns over the next, 6 months. And then I think probably it's going to be on my list. We just only played it twice.
Yeah, we've only played it twice.
But I have thought about it. And I met a guy while seeing Star Wars, and he said that he has a 2-foot tall Cthulhu that was a special Kickstarter thing for Cthulhu Death May Die. And there's like, when you fight him, you actually have to move your characters to different parts of the body. So like the top of his head and his hands and stuff like that. So that looks pretty cool. I'm actually going to do a collab special episode with that guy. He's going to bring it over and we're just going to like hang out and stuff. But yeah, it was pretty cool.
All right. That's the end of the episode. Thank you for listening to us rant or rave, I guess, depending on what we did about 2019.
And if you guys disagree, comment. Come
argue with me. I'm very argumentative on Facebook. So
he's trying to avoid conflict though. So help him reach
Nirvana.
Inner peace and just explain how he's right to his opinion, but
wrong on all accounts.
But wrong on all accounts. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. This was Dorkside News. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.